So hello everyone, hello for being here today on that webinar on the subject understand better the performances of your bioproducts. And so I see that you are coming from all over the world. I see that some of you are coming from Americas, some of you from Asia, some of you from Europe. So thank you all for being here today. I hope it will be interesting. And please do not hesitate to ask any question. You have a chat on the right of your screen, so don't hesitate to ask your question. And we will take 5-10 minutes at the end of my speech to answer them. So let me share with you my screen. And so the subject of today is the understanding of the success condition of your bioproducts. And that's a tough task. And so by bioproducts, we mean any type of biological. I mean biofertilizers, biostimulants, bioproducts, like biocontrol products, or even adjuvant or inoculant. So I imagine that you work with some of these products in your company, and we will try today to find a way to understand better the condition of performance of such type of solutions. So just to have a look on the summary before to start. So I will first present briefly the company Dorian and the solution Bloomeo, which is the new solution that we propose for bioproduct management. And then we will go deeper in the subject, notably how to define your protocols with flexibility. So by protocol, I mean variable, but also factor definition. So which factor do I want to test? Do I want to make multifactorial analysis as an example? Then we will see how to collect trustful data with the Bloomeo mobile application, which is available on iOS and Android, and how to visualize results easily with powerful graphs. And then the last stage will be on the contextualization of the performance of your bioproducts, which is the key word for this subject. And you will see how to combine notably environmental data with phenotypic data coming from your data collection to understand better the conditions of performance of your biosolutions. What a program. Let's go. And so just a short presentation of Dorian. So Dorian is a French company. We are based in Nice. Dorian has been founded 40 years ago in 1984. And so we developed a lot of data management solutions. So data management solutions which were quite basic at the beginning. And now we developed recently Bloomeo, which is a full SaaS solution, fully adapted for your biosolution activities. We are 32 employees, so some of them being in France, some of them being in Japan, some of them being in Argentina. So we are an international company, and we work with international groups. So you probably know Limagrain, you probably know Regity, you probably know DLF. We work also with a lot of biosolution companies like Kelblue, like Symbiagro, to name just some of them. In total, we work in more than 20 different countries. We work with very big teams, like teams having more than 500, 600 users, but also with very small teams. We have some companies working with us with only 2, 3, 5 users using the solution. So we are quite flexible in terms of number of people using the system. In total, we manage 250,000 trials a year. So it gives you just an idea of the powerfulness of the tool and of the quantity, the amount of trials that are managed by our customers during the year. About Bloomeo, so Bloomeo is a SaaS application. So it means that you don't need to install anything. You don't need any server internally. Everything is already prepared for you to be able to directly prepare your trials into the system. So Bloomeo is a SaaS solution, 100% web, and it can be accessible for you, for your team. So for example, if you are working on a marketing team, if you are working on a laboratory team, if you are working on an homologation team, you will have the possibility to access it without any problem. But if you want to share an access, a very specific access of Bloomeo to one of your partners, as an example, a CRO or a service provider, you will have the possibility to do it without any problem. Bloomeo is an open solution. And from the other side, Bloomeo is also really open in terms of interconnectivity with third-party tools, with third-party systems. I gave you some examples here. So you have laboratory tools that can be easily connected through an API connection to the Bloomeo centralized system. You have also the possibility to connect ERP, CRM, weather station, and even drones as an example. And you have to keep in mind that Bloomeo is not only a software, but it's a data management software linked to a structured database. And that's quite important also because in terms of data traceability, in terms of historical data that you would like to valorize, you will have the possibility to do it easily, for example, for meta-analytics. Just before to start my webinar, my presentation on a definition of protocols, I would like to know, I have a question for you. What type of trials do you manage in your company? So are you managing screening trials? Are you managing homologation trial or maybe marketing trials? So Romain will share with you a poll in the interaction tab, and I will be very pleased to have your responses. So thank you. So then I will directly switch to Bloomeo, to the Bloomeo system, and I will show you how to define easily protocols through the Bloomeo application. So when we open Bloomeo, the first thing we see with Bloomeo is that window, which is the activity dashboard. And that activity dashboard gives us an overview of the status of the trials that we have in the solution. In that case, as an example, you see that I have 22 trials, some of them being planned, some of them being in progress, and some of them being already done. So just to have an overview of the activity, let's say in an international scope. Then you have also the possibility to have a look on the position of your trials on a map. So here we see that we have some trials in France, some other trials in Spain, in that example. And then you have the possibility here to have a look on the name of your trials with the year of the trials and the geography of that given trials. Let's switch directly to the creation of a protocol together. To create a protocol, you click on New Trial, and then you have just 4 steps to follow. So that's very easy to create a protocol with the solution. First step, general information. So we'll put a name, like for example, Trial Biosol 2024. Then you select a period, so starting date for your trial. Let's say we will start it in March. And an ending date, let's say it will end at the end of November. Then you select a responsible people, it will be me in that case, and some contributors, which could be any people who will collaborate in terms of operations or observations for that given trial. So let's select Marine, Manon, and Christine as an example. Then I select an organization. So in that case, organization, we see business units, but it could be, as an example, a research station, if you would have several research stations in your team. So let's say business unit 1, then a species. In that case, let's say we will work with grape wine, and a geography, France as an example. Then we select a design. So the design is not mandatory. I mean, if you make strip trials or if you make microplot trials, you will have or not the necessity to use a design. In that example, I have 2 designs available, the CRD design or the RCB design, but we will have several other designs available also in the short term. Let's try to use the RCB one with 2 blocks, as an example. So 2 repetitions per modality. Then I click on next, and the next step will be to choose the variable to be tested in the field. Fortunately, I already have a variable list available for grape wine that are these variables. So, sorry, not that one, it is that one. So you have here drought, mildew presence, rust presence, sodium presence, vigor, water stress, and so on. And what you can see is that for each variable, you can decide if the variable will be tested at the trial level, at the plot level, or at the plant level. So it's completely configurable. You can define quantitative variable, you can define qualitative variable, you can set up also some limited choice. I will show you then after on the data collection application, but that's very easy to manage that onto Bloomeo. And you can gain a lot of time compared to managing variable manually. Next step is maybe the most important step for that specific chapter, it is the step of factor definition and modality definition. So in that specific step, I will select a product. So I will select a product from my list of products available into Bloomeo. And let's say I will make a biostimulant trial. So for example, I will choose Emerald Star, I will choose Nortron, and I will choose Python in that case. And I have here these three modalities available for the factor bioproducts, biostimulant in that case. If I want to mix, for example, Python with one specific additive, I would say, I can associate Microtech, which is an additive, to Python. And as you will see, they will create a mix which is part of the same modality. It means that Microtech and Python will be gathered and will be tested all together in the same modality for your further analysis. Then you can decide the doses to be applied. So for example, for Emerald Star, I can put like 2 liters per hectare. And for Nortron, let's say I can put 3 kilograms per hectare as an example, if I am with some solid biostimulants. You can also put a date of application or several dates of application if you want. Then also, you have the possibility to select your control. So for example, I can select like Emerald Star as the control, as the check for that given trial. And also something else that could be very interesting for some of you. I don't know if you are used to make multifactorial trials, but Bloomeo has the capacity to manage such type of complex protocols. So to add a new factor, that's very simple. You have here a button Add Factor, and you can, for example, add varieties. So as you remember, we are working on grape, and so maybe we can choose Cabernet Sauvignon, Carignan, and Chardonnay as the 3 varieties who will participate also to this trial. And so you will compare at the same time a first factor for biostimulants with 3 modalities and a second factor for varieties with 3 different varieties of wine. When it's done, the very last step will be to choose a location, and you choose a location among the list of available locations, and that's done. You created your trial with Bloomeo. So that's for the first step. Romain, maybe can we check the results of the precedent poll before going to the next chapter?
Yes, sure. Hi, everyone. Most of you are doing open field testing, 73%.
Okay.
But we have also homologation trials and marketing demo trials, and some only 18% do screening in the laboratory.
Okay. Oh, nice results. So yes, open field trial and open field testing is quite very basic. I mean to manage onto Bloomeo. That's very simple to manage, and you can manage the full process directly into the system. And for homologation trials, you can also, for example, collaborate with some CROs, with some services provider. You will share the protocol with them, and you will receive the raw results and the reports from these CROs and services provider onto Bloomeo. So all these type of trials can be easily managed onto Bloomeo, and that's nice to know that all of you are making such type of trials. Just before to go to the data collection, I would like to ask you a very last poll. That's the last one, I promise you. It's just to know about how many trials do you internalize and how many trials do you externalize. I would just have a proportion, like it is a 50-50, 20-80, 80-20. So you will have a poll still in the interactions, and I invite you to respond to it. That's the last one, I promise. Thank you. And so now, after having made the protocol, the next stage, if you internalize the trial, if it's a trial that you manage by yourself, will be to collect the data in the field. And to collect the data in the field, I have here a smartphone with me, a basic smartphone. Okay, it's available. The data collection application is available on iOS and Android, on tablets and smartphone. And I will show you how to perform the data collection in the field. So I will share with you my screen, my smartphone screen. Okay, and you see that I have here the Bloomeo application available. So Bloomeo is available on the Google Play Store. It's available on the Apple Store also. It's totally public, so you can download it if you want. Of course, you will still have to put a login and a password, the same as you have for the web application. By clicking on Bloomeo, I directly access, for example, I am a technician, I am in the field, and I will directly access to all the notebooks I am responsible for. In that case, I see a notebook, observation grape, bioproduct. I can open that notebook, have a look on the variables I will need to collect. So here I see vigor, water stress, grape quality, picture, and bunch weight, which will be the variable I will need to collect. I have the possibility to also manage the location of my trial. So you see here that my location is near to Montpellier, south of France. If I want to change it to adapt it to my current position, I can also do it by clicking on that button. Then you can start the notation by clicking on that green button here, start. And automatically it switches to a landscape mode with 3 columns. So a first column corresponding to the plots and the modalities. So you see modality 1, non-treated, 2 plots. Then Sandea 2 liters per hectare, 2 plots. And then Sandea 4 liters per hectare, 2 plots. So we have 3 modalities repeated 2 times. Then we have a second column corresponding to the variables to be notated. And a third column corresponding to the limited choice, the values to be collected for each variable. And so let's start the notation together. Non-treated plot, plot 1, vigor. Let's say that the vigor is medium. As you can see, here we have limited choices. So it will avoid a lot of errors. It will avoid a lot of mistakes. It has been predefined before on the Bloomeo web application with high flexibility, but it allows to be sure that the technicians will not make any mistakes, any error in the data collection. So I continue, grape quality, average quality. Then I can take a picture. So I will select here a picture from my gallery, for example, that one, and I can even annotate that picture. So for example, here I can see that I have some diseases, probably oidium, and I can put like oidium here as a comment. And here by putting oidium, I'm annotating the image, and this image will be saved with all of that annotations, and you will keep this information in the web application. And then bunch weight, I wanted to show you also that variable because it is a multi-notation variable. So what does it mean? It means that I will measure the weight of the first bunch, for example, 125 grams, and then I will do it for the second one, and then I will do it for a third one, but still in the same plot. And so the multi-notation is also possible to monitor through the Bloomeo application. And what you see after making several notations is that here you obtain an average value. Here the value averaged is 151 grams as an example, with the 4 notations that you took for the one plot. And then by clicking on next notation, you switch automatically to the next plot and you can continue the notation easily. If you want to synchronize the notation with the web application, you just need to click on that button, synchronization, and the synchronization will be made with the web application that I presented you before. That's for the data collection. Romain, maybe we can make just a short stop and see what are the results of the poll.
Yes, sure. Most of the attendees do external trials, in fact. Only 10% do 50-50 or mostly internal.
Oh, interesting. Okay, interesting. So it means that maybe the data collection application is not so interesting for you because you are externalizing a lot of trials, but whatever. You will see now maybe something which is more interesting for you. This is the data visualization. So you will have the possibility to gather back the data coming from the CROs and coming from any partner you could have. And you will have the possibility to visualize the performances of your bioproducts coming from the CROs and partners that took the notation in the field. As an example here, you have a dashboard which is named the synthesis dashboard, which gives you the possibility to have an overlook of the performances of your different modalities. In that case, I still have my 3 modalities that you have seen in the data collection application that are non-treated, Sandea 2 liters per hectare, or Sandea 4 liters per hectare. If I want to choose the non-treated one as a benchmark, as a reference, the reference will appear in purple, and I can compare that reference with the other modalities. For example, here I am on the variable yield, and I can compare the non-treated reference with Sandea 2 liters per hectare, which outperformed by 55%, and Sandea 4 liters per hectare, which overperformed compared to the reference by 80%, 85%. I can also select another variable. It could be quantitative variable, qualitative variable, whatever. Here in that example, it's different. Okay. Then I also have here access to a radar overview, which gives me an information on the profile of each modality. So here I have my modality non-treated with all the characteristics in terms of qualitative and quantitative variable collected. Same thing for Sandea 2 liters per hectare, and same thing for 4 liters per hectare. Then also, you see here a box plot, classic box plot. I think everyone knows how it looks like. For mildew presence, rust presence, for any type of quantitative or qualitative variable you collected in the field. Okay, so that's for basic analysis. Of course, you can take a step back and have the possibility to make meta-analytics or aggregate results in several trials. For that point, I have a slide to show you with several examples like that. Here, for example, you have access to what we name a product sheet. This product sheet will gather all the information on one given product at what given dose, and it will show you, for example, on a map, the places where that product has been tested in different trials. You will see the performances of that product in these different trials with some images here. And what is interesting also is that it will compare automatically the aggregated values of that given product at that given dose for all the variables that have been tested in the trials. So mildew, in that case, yield, leaf size, count of flowers, precocity, height, etc. And it will compare it with the same product at other doses and control products or competitor products in the market, as an example, that you could have tested at the same time as the reference product. Here, the list of trials where the product has been tested, and here some advantages, warnings, and drawbacks that have been mentioned by the technicians, by yourself, or by any other partner during the creation, during the management of the trials. So that's a product sheet that is easily doable and easily customizable through Bloomeo. You have also the possibility to make a head-to-head comparison. You have the possibility also to create specific and flexible reports like that one. Let me zoom on it. Here you have an example of report that it's doable on Bloomeo with, for example, an example of table with aggregated results, some annotated pictures on disease in that example, and some textual comments giving you the possibility to print that information on a PDF format and share it internally or externally with any partner. So that's for that results visualization. But now let's go a bit deeper in the subject and let's try to contextualize together the product performance, because it's easy. It's very easy to see results on dynamic graph, but it's more difficult to understand why the biosolution performed very well in that trial and why the same biosolution performed very poorly in another trial. That's what we will try to do on that specific chapter. What do we propose with Bloomeo? That's a vision, that's a strategy we have, is the possibility to combine the bioproduct performances that you collected with the results that you collected in the field with some environmental, with some pedoclimatic data. In that example, you have, for example, here a location, a specific location, and to this location are associated some environmental, some meteorological values coming from, example, from a weather station that you could have connected through an API connection. In that case, you see the average temperature, the average rainfall, and the average moisture for each month during the period of the trial. And based on that information, it can help you to understand a bit more what are the best conditions for performance of your biosolutions. So that's the first step that is doable. But if we want to go a bit further, we have something else to show you. This is the concept of agronomic zones. So maybe some of you are already used to such a concept, but what is an agronomic zone for Bloomeo? An agronomic zone is an homogeneous geographical area that shares approximately the same environmental characteristics. So, for example, the same type of soil, the same meteorological information like rainfall, temperature, same topography, same organic matter content. So, an area, a geographical area that shares approximately the same environmental characteristics. Based on these agronomic zones that are that you can build onto Bloomeo, you will have the possibility to compare the performances of your bioproducts in that different agronomic zones and define what are the best conditions for performance of your bioproduct. In that case, for example, we see that the blue agronomic zone correspond to a high yield for your bioproduct, and the green agronomic zone that has been defined by Bloomeo correspond to a low performance of the bioproduct. Based on that, you can take decision on allocating the bioproduct in one specific agronomic zone and targeting that specific agronomic zone with that bioproduct. And on the contrary, maybe the green agronomic zone, you will not focus on it because the bioproduct is not performing well due to specific environmental conditions. So that's we are working on Bloomeo. This is still a prototype, but I will be pleased to discuss a bit more the subject if anyone of you wants to have more information and would like to go deeper about this specific tool. And yes, I hope it has been interesting. Don't hesitate to contact Dorian if you want to know more about what we do, about how Bloomeo could help you in your day-to-day activities. And yes, I appreciated that moment, and see you soon. Thank you.